Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back with another Sister Wives season 15 review. I don't have a lot to say this time as far as the intro, except we are witnessing the families continue divide before our eyes. Go ahead and hit the like button for me as we begin. So the episode starts at Mary's house. Leon and Audrey are there for a visit. Before I go any further, I'm going to try to make sure that I get the pronouns correct. If I mess up, please understand it's not intentional. And if I catch myself, I'll fix it. I mean no harm. I mean no disrespect. I want to make sure that I'm using the correct pronouns. But sometimes when I've listened back to things, I've realized that I jack it up. So understand it's not intentional. So Leon and Audrey, they're in Flagstaff. They haven't been there in over a year. So they're coming over to Mary's. And for the first time, in what I believe is a long time, Mary is actually having the entire family at her home. I don't think that this is something that happens often, because Mary legitimately seems excited to not only have her kids there, but also the rest of the kids there as well. Cody and Janelle are out of town. We don't know why. They don't tell us if they're together. We just know that the both of them aren't in town. But the rest of the adults and kids are there to visit and to hear the announcement that Leon and Audrey have to make. As everyone gathers around, Leon and Audrey announce that they are going to be leaving Chicago and moving to, drumroll, Salt Lake City. They want to be closer to family as well as friends. They're going to be moving in 6 months. We find out that Audrey has been struggling to make friends in Chicago. Audrey works from home, so they haven't had the opportunity to really meet people. Audrey also wants to leave because of mental health reasons. They've been feeling extremely isolated in Chicago. Christine later tells us that she can tell that, the move out there was hard for Audrey, and that it just goes to show you how Audrey and Leon communicate with one another. Everyone, especially Mary, is so excited that Leon and Audrey are going to be closer. They let them know that they're now going to be having their wedding in Salt Lake rather than Chicago, which makes the most sense, especially if most of Audrey's family is there and they have like familiarity with Utah, and they like the mountains and things of that nature. It makes sense for them to do it there. Now, Mary is thrilled because Mary feels like this is one step closer to them being near, as well as she's going to be able to help plan their wedding. Leon talks about, how much they miss their siblings, and so does Audrey, and how, over the Christmas holiday and things of that nature, it was just something that was missing. Christine reminds us of how close Leon has always been with their siblings. And as she's talking, I hope that this remains to be the case. I know that some of them accept Leon because we've seen Leon at various weddings and things of that nature, but I don't know if they all do. I hope that they do, because it's hard enough to go through that type of change and that type of transition in itself. And then given that we're being told how close they are with their siblings, I'm sure that this is something that really matters to them. Christine tells us that Leon and Audrey work well as a couple. In her mind, she knows that Leon liked Chicago more than Audrey did, but because of how well they communicate and because of how they're willing to do whatever is necessary to make it so that they're both happy, they're willing to do things for one another. And I feel like that's what a relationship is about, in my opinion. I feel like it's about giving 100% of yourself to your person and making sure that you all compromise in a healthy way so that both people are happy. Mary says that Cody is going to be very excited about this announcement once he finds out, because he loves to have his kids around him, and that his kids is a big thing in his life. It's a big life focus. I feel like that may have originally been the thing, but over the years, Kody has shown me, I think, that it's not so much about the kids, and it's more so about the fact that those kids dote on him. If he really, really cared that much about his kids, if his kids were really that important to him, then I don't think that he would have handled the situation with the kids the way that he did during the pandemic. I don't think he would get so upset with them for not siding with him during the divorce between him and Christine and the issues that Janelle and him were having. I think that he would be more understanding towards his kids, but he's not that type of parent. Kody's love is conditioned. It's not unconditional, because unconditional love implies that you take the good with the bad, but all Kody is willing to take is what he deems as good. The parents talk about the differences that they now have in their culture and how it's, different it was different for them versus how it is for their kids. Mary in particular talks about how, they had to get married at a young age and have kids at a young age. But for their kids, they created a concept of you can do whatever you want to do. And Leon is doing that. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. You can think whatever you want to think about Leon's choices, whether you agree with them or not. That's Leon's decision. That's Leon's truth. That's how Leon identifies himself. But it's clear to me that the move from out of Utah saved Leon. I think that if it had not been for this show, and if they had not gotten out of that environment where Leon was trying to overcompensate and make sure that they were the best polygamous they could be, that Leon would have very much so been stuck in a relationship that destroyed Leon and who Leon was. So seeing Leon happy, seeing Leon living their truth and what it is that they want to do rather than what everyone else does or wants them to do is refreshing to me. Christine, it's the next day. Christine has the adults over for the family to meet up because Christine has an announcement to make, because this is the only time they gather, apparently, is for announcements. She excitedly tells them that she got an offer on her house. This is after over a year, you guys. Keep that in mind. Janelle can't understand why Christine's house took so long to sell, and neither can I. Especially with Kody being the know-it-all that he is, saying that it would only take a couple of months. We get on the subject of kids again because Mary jokes around saying that she thought that the announcement that Christine was going to make was that she was going to be having a baby or something like that. Christine lets us know she's done, but Kody still isn't sure if he's done. And I feel like he's not sure if he's done because he needs more kids around so that his ego can continue to be fed. Because at this point, the only ones who are feeding his ego are Robyn's little ones. And that is something that he legitimately requires. Even before, it seemed like all of Robyn's kids did it. But I think that in seeing Dayton the few times that we see him now on the show, he seems to be not as enamored with Kody, like he sees things for what they are. And I don't see them be overly codified the way they used to be, because they're growing up and they're becoming, a little bit of their own, because they got that helicopter mom that they got. But the point is, Kody needs kids to dote on him. According to Christine, Kody will never be done having kids, but her womb is closed. I feel like if he's never done having kids, he needs to get a job then, because he's about to lose multiple sources of income. And at some point this show, we go from that to talking about Christine's home in Vegas again. She says that she's disappointed with how long the sale took and that the profit that she'll receive from it. She lets us know that the house is selling for a lot less than what she wanted, but it is a cash offer. And I'm listening to her. Y'all, this is a year later after they left. So she spent over a year paying mortgage on a place that she no longer occupied. I feel like at a certain point, the smart thing for her to have done, for all of them to have done, once they realized that they were struggling to sell the homes, was to put those houses up for rental so that the houses could pay for themselves. But then again, that depends on that mortgage, because from what I understand, when they were first doing the project, one of the things that Cody kept telling us is that they're going to be mortgage poor, which means that those mortgages were significantly high. But we'll continue. Cody says that he and the wives took a hit on every single house and that they got way less than they thought they would. And I feel like that's because you didn't really take the time to really look at the market for what it was. Had they given it another year, they probably would have gotten what they wanted on them. But with Christine's house being on the market for the length of time that it was, it doesn't look good when sellers or not sellers, when potential buyers see this price keep dropping and see how long it's been on the market. They want to know what was wrong with it that it's been up here so long. So they're going to take the house as is. She doesn't have to do anything to it. I think that Cody also felt like the houses would sell faster because they were on this show. But at this point, they're not as popular as he thinks they are. Mary says there's something about having this house sold and having it done that, you know, they need to just focus on. Everyone talks about how after all this time, Flagstaff still doesn't feel like home. And Cody then talks about, you know, how hard it is to leave a house. He then brings up Lehigh and how hard it was when he returned to bury Mary's dog, and he starts crying, talking about the struggle it was in leaving and what came with leaving Lehigh and yada, yada, yo. And I'm just like, after all this time, we're still crying about Utah, yet here we are in Flagstaff, Arizona, because this is where the bird wanted to land. The bird says she misses her home in Vegas like crazy. Cody says the move there has tired him out. He says that they aren't the family that they used to be, that his wives aren't on the same page with him, and it's exhausting. And I want to know, what page is that? What does Cody's wives, what does the four ladies being on the same page as him look like? Because at this point, I'm unclear. I don't even feel like Cody knows what he wants. Christine says, can we make a plan now about what we're going to do as far as Coyote Pass and the building of these homes? Because now that my house is sold and all four of the houses are sold, the kids are going to want to know what's next. Mary says all they want to do is get out on the Coyote Pass property, but the family isn't its best right now. Christine brings up Truly and how excited Truly was about the house being sold and how Truly said, okay, so now we can build. Christine's like, that's what you said, Cody. That's what you said. You said that we just need to sell the homes in Vegas and then we can get out on that land and build. It's her way of kind of reminding him, like, you said this. This is what you said. You not only told us adults this, but you told our kids this. You promised me that we can have exactly what we had in Vegas with the cul-de-sac and just move it on that beautiful view where we get the trees and the angels singing and the mountains and my four seasons, as long as, you know, I move. This is what you told me. We sold it. Let's do it. But it's crickets, you guys. Crickets. Cody tells us that they want to now talk about this, and he doesn't. He wants to avoid it. Janelle says that she and the wives want to get things going. They want to get things moving so that they can get out on Coyote Pass. She's like, we want to get the surveyor. We want to see what we got to do so we can get out there. But there is one problem. Cody is running around at this point, her words, with his 1,000-yard stare. She tells us that Cody is just going from place to place, from house to house, spreading himself around, reacting instead of planning. And that is because Cody admittedly doesn't have a plan. In my opinion, and you all tell me yours, someone who really thought this out, someone who really is the man, would have understood. I wanted to do this one house. I went behind my wife's backs and I decided that I'm going to try to get this one house drawn up. Either myself or TLC spent all this money on plan A, which for me was the one house. Now I got to go to plan B. But Cody is not a man. He's a man child that likes to throw tantrums and punish people for not doing what he wants. So now what he's going to do is he's going to admittedly stall because this isn't really what he wants. He then pops the bubble of the sister wives and tells them that just because they finally sold all those houses does not mean that they have the money to do anything with that land. In other words, the TLC check is not enough at this point. Their finances are messed up and jacked up because they have been paying mortgages for all this time on houses that they don't reside in. Robyn and spent thousands and thousands of dollars renting some U-Haul trucks for over a month, spending whatever price they were spending on the daily rental of the house that they were staying in, rather than breaking up and staying with the sister wives until they got the house, just throwing their money, depleting it, then putting whatever down payment they had to put on that house that required the other wives to put money in from their share of things. And Cody's been buying things left and right, stuff that they don't need, so they don't got it. Robyn tells us that Cody tends to put so much into things in the beginning, like in the beginning of the idea, he has a lot to say, that he starts it, but then he starts getting a little exhausted towards the end of it. In other words, he has an idea and he doesn't follow through with it. Or as Janelle tells us, Cody gets lost sometimes during the execution part of the idea. So he follows through on nothing, but always has something. He always has a proposal, always has a presentation, always has an idea, but he never executes it. And then he wonders why the OG3 had to go out and do things independently of him. He wonders why they don't come to him or seek his aid the way that his loyal wife does. It's because he cannot be relied upon. He wants to be the head of the household, and yet he cannot lead. In order to be the head, you have to be able to lead. You have to be able to provide. There are certain things that are expected when you're the head. But Cody is not the head. Cody is the tail. Cody is not the neck. Like, he's nothing in my opinion. And the more I watch him is the more I get upset with him and how he dismantled this family. He was given the opportunity to lead when he made the decision for them to move to Vegas. It worked out for him. And for whatever reason, he decided to gamble again and make this move to Flagstaff, which was another opportunity for him to lead. And he fumbled it. He fumbled the ball. He messed up the bag. He threw it away because now they're in expensive behind Flagstaff that, according to some of you all who have lived out there, is more for people with money who, as far as the homes and stuff go, they rent them out. It's that type of situation. It's a place where people go and retire and things of that nature, which may be why Maddie said there's not a lot of jobs that they could do out there. So you do all of this to go to Flagstaff and they're struggling. They all agree that Cody enjoys the beginning part of things, but loses interest quickly once the idea is not new anymore. Sounds to me like what he did with his other three wives. He enjoyed the idea of Christine in the beginning because Christine was there to help break up the issues that were going on with his other wives. But once Christine was no longer the little shiny penny, once he got the bird and experienced love and all those other things, then he threw all of that to the side. He didn't finish what he started in his marriages and keep them whole. I'm reaching here, but just go with me. Mary and Janelle want to know which of the lots on Coyote Pass they'll be given. And I don't even know why they're worried about that at this point when he just said that you all don't have money to build on it. So what does it matter? I also want to know who is really handling the family finances, because is Janelle the one handling the finances, or is there some outside person who's doing it? Because how is it that Cody and Robyn are able to keep robbing these ladies blind and the other ladies aren't seeing it? Once this subject comes up, immediately, Cody is preparing himself for this lot discussion. He knows that all of his wives are going to want to have the same lot, the same type of house. He said it's going to be, this person has this big house, so this person's going to have this big house. He's worried about the whole competition of it and it turning into another disagreement. But it goes to show that he doesn't know his wives, because at this point, Janelle is downsizing. At this point, Christine has downsized. So the only two people who would present you with big homes is probably Mary and Robyn, the two wives that have the most crap. He tells us, I don't want to talk about it anymore. And now I'm mad. He doesn't want to get into trouble again, because the last time that he had this discussion out in Coyote Pass that he got in trouble, maybe you got in trouble because of all the things that you said that apparently Mary still hasn't seen, because y'all just kept filming and filming and filming. Because if she had seen it, maybe she wouldn't have been so willing to go out back on that property with you all again. Cody, who just said that they don't have enough money to begin this build, now tells the sister wives that he would prefer to build 7 homes on Coyote Pass all at once. And I want to know, how did you go from 4 homes, later it's going to turn into 5, to 7? The man is insane, and he's stalling big time. According to him, they need a home for each of the wives. And then he wants to have like rental properties that the developers are making huge profits off of this. He's really trying to find another way to get income, because this man, in my opinion, doesn't want to work. He doesn't. And given how Cody in the book switched so many jobs, and how Janelle used to get him work, and Janelle used to help him with this, and Janelle used to help him with that, and Mary would just up and leave it, Cody's not accustomed to really having to work. He tells us that they brought the extra property on Coyote Pass to rent it out or give it to their kids, when we already know that their kids have no desire to live there. So what kids are you talking about? Is it the Birds kids? Because the OG3 kids, they're good. They don't want to be out there. Janelle kind of mocks Cody and says before he tries to enter into this, development world and this real estate world, he should start by trying to get his families a home first. And I agree. He admits that he's stalling. Christine asks Cody if they could at least get started on one house, and he's not trying to do it. Robyn says that the only way at this point to get the houses started and to start building is if Cody starts it, because it wouldn't be appropriate for one of us to lead it. Yes, it would. They all just sat there telling us that Ramen Head starts ideas, but he doesn't complete them. So then why would you expect for him to be able to do this if you know he's not going to complete it? Each one of you all delegate a specific responsibility to each other so you can at least know how much this build is going to cost, if you can build out there at all. It's been over a year, and he's done nothing but secure a new nest for his bird. And he's done this off of the backs of the other wives. He says this thing, maybe I just need to turn it over to them. Maybe the drama and the problems in our lives is me. And all I have to say is duh, 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 duh. We figured it out years ago, Cody Brown. We figured out years ago that the problem was you. Your little bird helps you too, but you're a lot of the problem. At this point, Christine is over it. And then I don't know, he's frustrated. She's frustrated. They're all frustrated. Christine is just looking at this thing and she's seeing it for what it is. She sees that Christine sees that Cody isn't going to have a follow through. That he, in her words, is subconsciously comfortable with the way things are now with them being separate. And I think he is. And I think it's not subconscious. I think he knows he is, but he wants to sit here and act like it's a problem. The only problem that Cody has is Cody doesn't feel like going to see the other wives. He just wants to see his kids, which means the family isn't going to be together for a long time. I think that Christine wanted to get out on that land because she was trying to hold on to something. And the writing for her was already on the wall. She's already said it in last episode and this episode. Now she wants to get out to Utah. Christina's itching to go to Utah. And it just goes to show, despite Cody later on saying that she didn't fight for this, that this was her trying to fight. The bird says, this makes us nervous because, you know, the separation isn't good for their culture. Cody says that the process with him and Robyn has drained him so much that he just had the worst fight that he's been through over this whole rental buying situation. I don't really know how much I believe it. I feel like, yes, there were disagreements, but I feel like Robyn was really in La La Land, and I feel like Robyn really wasn't trying to downsize, and that was the real problem. But Cody's not going to call that out because the bird does no wrong. He said he's discouraged with where they're at with the property and that he wishes that he could sell it. So sell it. Have a talk with your wives. Tell them we weren't smart about this. We should go ahead and sell it. Maybe we should go ahead and stick with Cottonwood. Maybe we should, you know, do something else. Maybe we should all just buy homes out here because y'all are very comfortable with not being with each other. I don't know, but sell it. It's been 4 months now since the argument with Mary, Robyn, and Cody on Coyote Pass, and they're just now deciding to go back to Coyote Pass and address this. So it's the next day. The three of them are out there. I don't get the point of them going out there, but they wanted to do this scene. We are reminded of the argument, and Robyn tells us that she wishes she was in a better place so that she could have diffused the argument between Cody and Mary. We get reminded about how Cody tried to bend for Mary to get, you know, her location. Wait a second. I just thought about something. She wished she could have diffused the argument between Mary and Cody, but she was in on that argument too. You see how she easily removes herself from a situation and just puts it on other people when she was a part of that too? She's very, very aware of what she does and says. But let me continue. We're reminded about Cody trying to bend for Mary for her to have that location, and that Mary wasn't mad at Robyn, but she was mad at Cody. Cody says to Mary, Robyn says we had a definite misunderstanding, so maybe it's a good idea if I straighten it out. Why did Robyn have to tell you what was evident to all of us? Why did Robyn have to say anything? Why did he have to add that part as a little dig in there and say that Robyn said this, so here I am to do this? And why did it take 4 months to address it? Are you back to trying to lift the bird up so that you can make it seem like she tries to work things out? Because he then tells us that the bird is the family peacemaker. And if the wives have a complaint about him, that often Robyn normally can get them to talk about it. I do not think for one moment that that bird is a peacemaker. I think that that bird is the puppet master. That's what she is. She figured out very early on the areas in Cody's life that was lacking. She honed in on it, and she became whatever it is that he needed to be. Look at Robyn. As we've watched Robyn throughout the years on our screen, when she first came on the screen, she was somewhat attractive. And I'm saying somewhat because I'll stand by the fact that I think that Janelle is gorgeous. She was somewhat attractive. And as a result of his attraction to her, there were certain things that he felt lust for. Then on top of that, I think she saw the different pieces of each wife that Cody liked, and she tried to pick up those pieces. Notice that with Robyn, very rarely when something is presented does she have an opinion. A lot of times she lets the other wives talk, pays attention to the way Cody responds, and then pivots accordingly. If she feels very strongly about something, that is when the puppet master that she is will come in and pull the strings a little bit and sway Kody in her direction if she needs to. So you calling her the Peacemaker doesn't work for me. Robyn talks about how us not coming out here as a family and communicating effectively isn't the way that our culture operates. What is your culture? Because Kody, even though he says in that instant that we have a break in our culture, later tells us that Robyn doesn't even know anything about their culture. Kody says we have a break in our culture. We're gathering, but not like we used to. We hear the wives talk about how they do not spend much time together now. And Janelle says that she only sees them a couple times a month, which to me, I feel like is for the purposes of filming. I do. The bird then lies to us and tells us that there are times that she doesn't see Kody for a long time, and she just feels like he's spending extra time somewhere else. Do y'all believe that? Because I don't believe it. I think that Robyn is playing it up for the cameras. This man has later told us that he cannot be apart from his little ones for more than a couple days at a time. So it's clear, Robyn, that you're seeing him. We see it in other episodes where he seems to film a lot with you. A lot with you. And it wasn't just because of the whole rental situation. It was because he was staying predominantly with you. Christine at this point has figured things out for herself. She says she doesn't even bring up the fact that she doesn't see Kody a lot because when she does, it causes a problem. Robyn says it just feels strange, being away from the family. She says life on her own, Christine does, is less complicated, and she doesn't feel guilty about it because she is learning to do things without them. I think that Christine enjoys living without all of the tension and having to make decisions based on other people's opinions. I think she's just enjoying spending time with her kids, doing whatever she has to do as far as her business is concerned, and getting to know people around Flagstaff, because we know she has friends in Flagstaff. We later see her film with them. He says, Mary, we had a misunderstanding and it's all my fault. Meanwhile, he tells us that he's just learned to do the dance and he just has to dance more for some people than others. He says he's lost the desire to gather his family at this point. He says it's easier to deal with one wife and their kids at a time rather than to try to think about dealing with the whole family unit. That statement coming from him is ironic because it just reminded me of seasons ago when him and Christine were on their honeymoon trip and they decided to bring Nancy and she had them do that rock exercise. And he got mad at Christine because Christine was trying to make it about the two of them when he was like, it's about the family, the family, the family. I can't talk about us without talking about the family. And here you are admitting that you yourself aren't operating from the standpoint of one family. You're taking your three families, because Mary doesn't count, and dealing with them in whatever capacity that you have to. They then walk around, have the same conversation about what was meant about the trees and whatever else. Robyn then suggests that they kiss and make up, and Mary's like, that's kind of weird. Robyn says, it's not weird. I mean it in a platonic way. I love Mary. She's my sister, wife, and friend. I can't tell that you're friends because you don't really hang out with your friend. But if that's what you think a friend is, okay. And I don't mean like you have to see your friend all the time in order to be friends. I mean that seeing how much Mary struggles, seeing how Kody has treated Mary over the years, I don't feel like Robyn has been a true friend to her. So we hear about what we already know, that Kody and Mary's marriage is basically non-existent at this point. Kody describes it as distant and amicable. He's clearly not interested in it. Mary says it's dead and gone based on a flashback that they show us from their conversation 2 months prior with Nancy. Kody then tells us for all of his marriage with Mary, she has unloaded her emotions on him into a burden that he's supposed to carry. I don't think that her emotions equate a burden. But notice how her emotions are a burden, and with Robyn's emotions, he just wants to protect her. Same thing with Christine. Her emotions are her nagging, but with Robyn, he's just trying to be there for her. I wonder if he really feels that way, though, like she's always been a burden, because it's not what he said in the book. But here he is telling us that from day one, once he got married, he looked at Mary as a burden. And I feel like that's not on Mary, that's on Kody. He says he's not carrying this burden anymore. There's no reason that he should, meaning he's done with her. We watch Robyn and Kody and Mary awkwardly walk around Coyote Pass, pointing out this and pointing out that. Kody tells us that he hasn't put any effort into getting along with Mary because, I quote, I have 3 other relationships that are rewarding and wholesome with children that need me and need to see me. It's always about him. He told Mary that this move could be a new start for them, and it wasn't. And Mary continues to stick around, in my opinion, because part of her feels like she deserves this. Instead of Mary giving out classes that she's giving out now, talking about, her worthy class, I think that Mary needs to focus on some intense therapy for herself and discover her worth. Deconstruct what this religion has taught you about this self. Be honest about the things that you did and who you are, and stop feeling like you're supposed to endure. Mary has no clue at this point of all the awful things that this man has said about her, about the way that he threw the tantrum last season and all those other things, because they have not yet done the one-on-one tell-all or whatever else. So she hasn't seen it. She doesn't push, but she wants to move forward, and she says Kody knows this, so she prefers to leave the ball in his court. And I need Mary to understand that there is no ball, and if there is, he already chucked it off the court and it's deflated. He wants nothing with her because he continues to trash talk her. He likes to say that the wives have trash talked him over the years, and he says that Christine and Janelle and Mary did it. Meanwhile, Robyn has never done it. But I've watched, and over the years, he's talked trash about the OG3 as well. He says neither of us see real value in the relationship. If they really wanted to be together, they would. But that's not true, though. Kody does not see value in the relationship. Mary does. So that crap that he was spilling in season 18, when he sat down there telling Suki that there was a time when he wanted to get back with Mary, and Christine got mad and she thought about what he said and she threw a tantrum and she walked up and she thought it was messed up, was a complete lie. This scene and so many others proves it. He has made it clear. More and more over the years that he does not love Mary anymore. He does not touch her. He doesn't embrace her. He doesn't listen to her. He doesn't spend the night at her house. He doesn't come and sit with her. He doesn't talk with her on the phone. He barely tolerates her. The only reason he is still letting her claim them and him as a family is because, number one, he wants her money. Number two, he doesn't want to look bad on this show. Number three, their religion. I feel like in the religion, the wife can leave. The husband has to allow her to do that because he said it time and time again, like they can leave, like he can't. The marriage was over once Slob'em, Robyn, what are their names? I need to write the names down because y'all got some good names. Liebrows, Nike Check, I used to call her. I can't think of the names. The bird. Goblin. Once she entered the family, once she came into the picture, it was a done deal. And what furthered it was when Mary decided to embarrass Kody on national television by daring to fall for someone else and attempt to leave him and then insult him furthermore by lying about it to this day and acting like that's not what she was going to do. At that point, before the catfish situation even happened, he had stopped being intimate with her. He wouldn't even lay in the bed with her. So it's not far removed that he was done. Cody says there's times where he wants to sell the place because he's just sick of this game. He wants his wives to work it out because he's tired of trying to make it work with them, but they need you in order to make it work. Robyn says where they went wrong most, Cody and them, was their communication. It's the same discussion again. I'm not going over it. Bottom line, Mary was indecisive. Cody hated it and moved her to wherever he wanted to move her to. Cody explains to us why he doesn't want Mary to have the house near Coyote Pass Pond. He feels like Mary will block or restrict movement from other family members' access to the pond, and he's like, she doesn't know that, but the wives feel that way too. Once again, she hasn't seen the episode. It's not a freaking pond, and I doubt Mary would care if they decide to go swim around in Perry poo-poo. Her having a problem with you running in and out of her house is different from her having a problem with you going to go play in poop. She don't care. If you want to go over there to the pond that's sometimes going to be full of water and sometimes isn't, have at it. Robyn is still trying to sort out the whole issue with them and the lots and all that other stuff, acting like she's had some type of epiphany. Cody doesn't understand why it's so hard for Mary to get that she said that she didn't want to be in the trees. He heard her say that, so he moved her somewhere where there wasn't trees. Not that deep. They talk about this for another 6 minutes. After 4 months, Mary still, at this point, does not know where she wants to be on the daggone property. And I said, okay, Mary, now you're back to being the problem because you've had 4 months to figure this out. Maybe you don't know the exact place, but you could say, this is my number 1 choice. This is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Mary, you are now the problem. Tell him where you want to be and move on because you're not going to be out there anytime soon anyways. Doesn't seem like ever. So just do it. Cody tells us that he takes the blame for almost everything that goes wrong. That's a lie. Robyn says, we don't have to make a decision today. I just wanted us to talk. Cody says, Robyn has an assumption about our culture that we work things out and we work all this stuff out, but that's not true. 9 times out of 10, I take the blame for almost everything that goes wrong. I don't think that. He said with monogamous relationships, the husband and the wife do this decision together, but in plural marriage, it's different than that. Pick which one it is because you all told us that all of your relationships are separate, yet we see a lot of the situation where the 3 of you all are not separate. And I think, Mary, you did yourself a disservice by putting Robyn into the situation. You were communicating before effectively with your husband. You may have had spats here and there, but you still haven't came out and said what was the major issue that happened so long ago where it was like we're almost done. Mary said that the last 1.5 years in Flagstaff, she doesn't know what happened. They're in a weird place. Cody says the wives are all doing their own thing, that they're doing their own thing. They're glad they have their own house and they get to have, hang out with their own kids. That was a dig to me at Christine. And I get to see my husband once in a while. Robyn says that the 3 of them need to hold hands in this place since this is the place where they have the disagreement. Mary is in the middle. She says she's trying to do whatever she can to help Mary and Cody. Cody said that Robyn being in the middle of them makes things easier and it makes him feel safer with Mary. What does safe mean? What is Mary going to do? Come and hit you? I hate the fact that they use that word safe like he's been in a situation where she's caused him emotional or physical harm. Maybe she caused him emotional harm with the catfish, but at that point, it was more of an ego thing. He wasn't hurt because he went with Mary. Mary says it doesn't bother her that Robyn is there because she's a part of their relationship. It should bother her, though, because she's not supporting them in the way that Mary thinks that she is. She's actually, in my opinion, causing more division in a cunning way. But you all tell me what you think. Robyn ends this episode by saying that she thinks that there's something special when you can look at your sister wife and she's got your best interests at heart. It's gotta be the purest kind of love. And that's how it ends. That's it. That's the episode. You all tell me what you thought of this one. Put it down in the comments section. If you have not done so already, please like the video as it helps the channel. We're growing on the road to 2,000 and I hope to get there sooner than later. Until next time.